people should use AI judiciously, which
Wait,
judicious
does that mean a lot?
judiciously? I thought it meant like with a measured approach.
Mm.
Um,
It's funny because I think about, like, spread butter judiciously on the piece of bread. I guess it would be don't put too much butter on.
yeah.
I always took it as, like, put a ton on. My business is your business. It's all up in my lady business with me, Mary Nisi. Hey, today we're in all up in our lady business, back with the M Dog, with Melissa Riddle in the house. While her trees are getting cut down outside. Hey, Melissa,
I
welcome.
For the record, the tree had a fungus, and had to go, so I don't wanna start the day off with me, being a tree murderer. Just wanted to qualify, that I couldn't save them. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay. There's a tree. The city planted a bunch of like elms, had either Dutch elm or whatever the thing was that
Mhm.
was like attacking trees, and like every tree on my side of the street was basically destroyed. And they replanted a bunch of trees. And apparently, my neighbors even like or my people who owned my house at the time like paid more for like a better tree, and it totally died. And every other tree on the block is kind of
Mm.
thriving. And
Oh,
so it's really sad because, the best
but
time
you
to plant a
had
tree
the
is
tree.
what?
You had to go for the premium tree, and it just,
Yeah,
didn't work.
it didn't have the genetics to hold it
Yeah,
together.
right.
It's like purebred dogs, they have all those
Right.
problems that
Just
mutts
gotta stick
just
with the
don't have.
scrappy stuff. Scrappy just knows how to survive, man.
Yeah. Been time tested, road tested, mother
Yeah.
approved.
Yes.
But, yeah, it's another day in America, here in America on the
Mm,
pod.
mhm.
And I feel like, I think we should tackle the topic of AI.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely jump into it. We've had so many, brush ups, lately with the pros and cons of it all, mostly cons, I think, but
It's weird, it's like, I think it's really weird that they released AI, like, commercially. Like, I feel like that was just too much power to give to the general public.
I feel like it's like anything where I truly am so unaware of the actual depths that it has, sort of, in inroads into our foundation,
Like, you don't realize
as
even how
as
much you're using it even, like.
not me personally. I have very, like, guarded, boundaries, like, it's not on my phone. I've opted out of literally everything that I can possibly opt out of as an individual related to AI and, um, like, it will never, uh, cross my Gmail. Gemini can
No.
suck it.
Yeah, I hate AI chatbots. Like, there was that brief moment where you're, like, thinking about maybe getting one for the website, and I'm really glad that
Mm,
we didn't do that
yeah,
because I hate them. I like
yeah,
the shitification of everything in the world is, like,
yes.
it's maddening. It's like nothing works. Everything has a glitch in it,
Mhm.
and it's like, I don't know how to, like, it's just it's made everything a little shitty, and we've all just kind of accepted it. Like, there's no paying for a premium option that is premium. It feels like the highest tier is the only tier, and you're getting lowest tier service.
Yeah, I like I said, there's so many different ways they don't even realize that it is in my day to day. I think one of the things that's the most, I guess, revealing to me is like when I talk to my mom, like how much her generation, or at least the people that she's around, seems have like embraced it and are like using it on a regular basis. And I know in her sphere in particular, it is really like fuel for conspiracy theories and like all this stuff. And I only get, wisps of it here and there through her. But it is wild how you know, it's like Facebook in 2016, where it's just like you're in such a vacuum and now you have this thing that can actually directly talk to you
Mhm.
that you take as an authority, being able to kind of either, reinforce or encourage a train of thought, provide, evidence for you to then just end up, kind of taking it at face value, even though it, it's
Well, and
just an echo chamber.
it's also, like, the way it talks to you. It's like, "Hey, girl, you should, like, you're right. That is weird that, you couldn't make a spreadsheet that has a pivot table.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
let's use some real data and not that lame data that your competitor's using." Like, it's like a and I think that
No,
some people get taken by that. They're like, "Ooh,
it's
they make
really
me feel
there.
smart. They're validating all my choices and all the
Yes,
things that I'm doing."
yes. And that just seems like a terribly slippery slope that I want no part of. Um,
And it's wrong
but
a lot. That's the other thing is it's wrong a
but
lot.
but then you don't have a tool to validate whether it's
Well,
wrong.
you do.
I mean,
It's this guy.
not if you're using it for an area of expertise you don't possess.
Sure. And for
Which
those of you at home that without cameras, I was pointing to my head.
oh, cabeza.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think, I keep kind of going back to it feeling like when the internet, first existed and we first had access to like Google and search engines and stopped using books, to get information and we believed everything as, current. And if it lived on the internet, you were either totally embracing it or completely skeptical of it. And now, it's like it feels very much like that again, which is weird because like I think about being, 18, 19 when I first started engaging with the internet.
Me too.
And then, and now here I am 2 plus decades later, sort of with this other very similar feeling frontier, and just kind of wondering like, all of the same things kind of in a way.
It doesn't feel good. It feels like it feels like I don't know, like I don't know. It can't I don't know how to say this. Like it's like I don't want to think about my brain. I already feel my brain's getting mushy enough. Like I feel like there's already a mushy that's happening just with general, age and whatnot.
Mhm.
And I do think that, the chat GPT can really take the place of a lot of basic thinking. And I don't think we can like not do those things because if we don't do those things, it's like we if we lose the step right here that's between like the idea and then the solution and we didn't do anything to make it happen,
Yeah.
like then what is it even? Like when people are
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we can take away, we're going to make all these spreadsheets that used to take 3 days and now it's going to take 1 day." And it's like, "Okay,
Yeah.
what do we do with that extra 3 hours now that you've taken that away?" A,
You
they're gonna
s
find a way to fill it,
Yeah.
and but the other thing is that it's like, if all this data is just like, your AI talking to another person's AI, like, then it becomes it's not me no if no person is touching it, then it doesn't mean anything. It's like, it's meaningless. If it can
It
be done by the computer, it's meaningless.
Yes. Also, I mean, just as a person who considers herself to have spent the last, I guess, what did I 25 years in some form of service and learning how to speak diplomatically about things and compose, beautifully written, well considered emails to other human beings. Now I just assume that everybody thinks that just my, experience using language is now, just a robot.
Mhm.
I take offense to that.
Well,
Um,
and then also the ability to like, I think about how people it's like you can sound like you have expertise in something that you have 0 expertise in,
mhm,
and, it's like we have to deal with a lot in at Toast and Jam with people, like, putting
sure.
our contract into Chat GPT and then, thinking then that they can come back and beat back every single clause in the
You have
contract.
to negotiate, which, yeah, I think we've obviously encountered that on a vendor B2B sort of level, and now we've encountered it, the first couple of times, on a client hiring us
Mhm,
basis, and it's truly wild, but also makes me really grateful that I'm not, and that we're not, just a single op,
mhm.
DJ company out there sort of having to, I guess, get bullied, by people. We have enough, like, infrastructure to be able to push back against that and enough knowing enough people are gonna hire us regardless of whether we allow them to kind of bully us over their AI version of our contract.
Well, and, our contract is something that I have, like, when I first started the company, it was, like, 4 paragraphs, and now it's 3 pages.
Yeah,
And it's just because over the
getting
years,
longer.
I've used my contract as a cudgel to, keep, you know, certain unsavory people at bay
Mhm.
and the types of things they ask of us. And, it's like the thing that I think people forget a lot when they're hiring people, say vendors that are coming in to do a one-time event, like we're doing 14 in one night. They're doing this exactly one time in their life. And
Mhm.
so, they're getting all these people together. They're getting together the photographer, the florist, the caterer, all these people. And then they're bringing in, 150 wild cards that are their guests. And you're putting emotion and a lot of money and then alcohol dousing that. And all of a sudden you've got a recipe for potential disaster. And so it's like we don't know what we're entering into. And it's crazy to me that people expect us to have these like fully reciprocal contracts that protect them as much as it protects us. And it's like, okay, well, it's not the same. This isn't the same thing.
No, it's really not, and, yeah, I keep there isn't enough, similarity, analogous, sort of things out there to be able to, like, really drive that point home, like, solidly enough, I think, for people to understand the dynamic of, us coming to you and why that leaves us more vulnerable than if, you were coming to us. It's a very different situation. So, anyway, the indemnity and the insurance and, all that stuff is definitely tricky to navigate, but I really wish that there was a way that I mean, the way is the way that we have stuck to, which is just you might have these AI resources or whatever, but we don't have we're a small woman-owned business without a lawyer on retainer. Like, this is our contract. If you want to work with us, we're here it is. Like
Well,
this.
and it's like we've got 20 years of runway behind us,
Yeah.
like is it runway or road? I don't know, but we've been around for a long time and had if any of these things were going to be a problem, they would have been a problem by now.
Yeah.
Knock on all the wood.
Sure.
Uh but it's also like difficult because it feels like it just seems like there's so much more of it. It used to be that it would just be like I went to law school or I'm in my 3rd year of law school and I'm doing contracts right now. And I know that this,
Yeah.
indemnity clause is not
Yeah.
100% in my favor. And it's like, okay, well, I'm not changing it, law student.
Also, it wasn't designed to be.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so thanks for picking up on that.
Well,
Um,
and it's, to explain to the listeners out there, like what the biggest issue we always have is indemnity, which is, who's going to pay the legal bills if shit goes south. And it's like, we're in charge of our gross negligence. Like if we do something wrong, we'll pay for it. But if everybody at the place gets sued, we're not going to like pay the legal fees for everybody there. And so we have the client indemnify us. So it's like you brought us in here. So if something shitty happens that's not our fault and we get sued for it, you're paying for it. Like we didn't come in here. We couldn't control who was walking in the door. And then they get all high and mighty, and it's like, "Well, no, you're gonna indemnify me." And it's like, "Well, I'm not though. Why would I pay the legal bills for you when it's something that I didn't do wrong?" It's like, and even when you explain that, it doesn't
mhm.
seem to like really get. They're not like, "Oh, okay, I get it." Like
Yeah.
it's like, no, they're just willful ignorance on the magnitude of the event that they're throwing.
Yes. I think the other big one that cracks me up that I would love for you to explain to listeners exactly what a certificate of insurance is.
I mean, I hope that people care about this weird arcana of our job, but,
People can
it's
have to get this is I think this is a global misunderstanding that you're about to
I mean, a global misunderstanding for people in service industries who have to carry insurance and prove it. So,
sophisticatedly okay, go ahead.
yeah, so, I mean, we have to sometimes provide a certificate of insurance for certain venues, usually the venues, where we have to name them as additionally insured, and I think they think that that means our insurance is now covering them. And that's not what it means. What it just means is that every time we change our insurance, you get notified. So, like, if I was told I had to get insurance for an event that I was doing, and if I was shady, I could get a COI for 1 day. Like, I could buy it and then send the COI, certificate of insurance, over to the person, say, "Look, I've got this insurance," and then I can cancel it the next day. So it looks like I've got $1,000,000 in liability, but I don't really. So
You
if
did
you
for
get it
that one day.
for 1 day, I was covered, and it cost me, like, $28, and
Yeah.
then for me to get the actual big, it's gonna cost a 100 couple 100, and so it's this is why you want people to hire actual real vendors instead of just, like, a guy off the street, is because we actually have insurance, and, if you get named in the COI, then you get notified. I sometimes think about the many, many entities that are just getting just letters constantly being notified of we worked there, like, 4 years ago, and they're still getting, like, notifications of our insurance changing. But
Which
whatever.
yeah. It rarely well, it never goes away. We may change, aspects
Sure.
of the policy, but all the certificate of insurance is doing, everyone, is sending a note if we ever change our insurance. That's it. That's all it is.
If we go if we go up in coverage, down in
Yeah.
coverage,
That's
add
it.
a new, what do they call it, stamp or whatever into it, like, it all just winds up,
Yeah.
and it's sort of, I'm not gonna say it's meaningless. I mean, it does feel like a lot of the times, though, that we as to like, where we are at in the industry, like, we get punished for the sins of, like, smaller, shittier companies that, don't try to cover their ass. And it does seem to be DJs a lot that they're kind of coming down on.
They do like to come down on us. Sometimes I'll go back and forth, or, like, a particular venue will be like, like, want to have the event date on the COI, and it's like, okay.
Where?
Yeah, and in the additional insured, please, put on the side, like, that this is for, 8/22/2005, and it's like, do you really wanna get, like, 8 copies of our COI for the 8 times that we're performing, at your venue this year? All this is a notification to these people in the event. Anyway,
And it and I think it sounds good to ask for it, and
sure.
I think I mean, it all even, I mean, we've also had a scourge, as I'm saying to the listeners more so than Melissa, because she knows it, but a scourge of, like, venues that want us to sign contracts with them over the event, and so it's like we have our contract with the client, and then they wanna have this other contract that's with us that says, like, it's policy driven. It's like, "Don't you won't be there more than
It's
5
also
hours early."
AI driven, right?
Well,
And
yeah.
yeah,
It's
like,
yeah,
everyone thinks they're an attorney now. Oh, let's
and that
yeah,
all but what's galling, what's crazy is, like, like, I've signed some of them over the years, but I don't like signing things that have anything to do with outside of our thing, because
yeah,
it's like, you're coming to us. You're bringing us in, like, we didn't
yeah.
ask for this. Well, we guess we did technically ask for it. Um,
We
and
wanna DJ your wedding, but you're still bringing us to wherever you're having that.
Yeah, and if that and those venues will, and I really feel like it's always DJ based. It's like, because I think there's a lot of DJs that when you hire just anybody can call themselves a DJ. Let's just start there. Anybody can call themselves a DJ, and I think that when people are getting married, they always have a friend. Everyone has a friend that could DJ it,
Mhm.
and it's like, you could have some joker with, consumer grade, Bose speakers, and trying to just pull it together, and then they don't understand volume. They don't understand who's important here. They don't understand what order things are supposed to happen in. And so things get broken, things get off, like, or they don't
Yeah,
know how to load in, like,
yeah.
there's, like,
I'm
everything
still
is
trying to, like, unpack though, Mary, like, what even if you're, a single op that can't even qualify truly as a single op because you don't have enough actual DJing
gigs.
performance
Yeah. Mhm.
under your feet to be able to even use that terminology. But there's not a whole lot that we can break and mess up.
No.
There really isn't. So, and the service that we're providing relative to the overall cost of the event is fractional at
Mhm.
best. And so it's just such an overreach to look to us to be able to say, okay, you're bringing us on site with all this alcohol and all this food? What if somebody
Weather we have
had
no control over.
and so, like, but what a speaker could tip over, like, we could, uh, even like a faulty outlet that we plug into is still not us. That's, like there's just not that much. Uh, and the other sort of thing that this ties into that I find, so interesting is like this, um, if attrition's the right word, but just like this wearing away of, the acceptance of the cost of doing business and the impulse to kind of put those things on to other businesses. So, like, from a venue standpoint, like, you're gonna have to refinish your floors if you allow people to dance upon them. Like, that's
Yeah.
that's just part of it, like
Or if you're bringing in a different, you're bringing a different caterer, a different florist, a different everybody has, like, a different, cart, how the tape that they put down, like,
right.
there's
Yeah.
any number of things.
Yeah. And so, like, these, expansive, like, lists of things that you can and can't do at certain venues in effort to, like, preserve just normal wear and tear, and then, the hoops that you make everybody jump through to prevent you from having to make normal improvements and maintenance, you know, associated expenses that come from running a venue or come from whatever, these just there just seems to be so much of this going on, and I'm like,
Well,
"Why does the DJ have to pay for it?"
I have a well, and, we've also had
Why us?
situations where we've taken the contracts and, like, we had one recently, and we actually had our lawyer take a look at it because we were like, "This seems like a terrible agreement." Like, I don't know, like, she looked at it and she, like, saw it, like, she looked at it for 1 second. Like, I emailed it to her, and within 10 seconds, she was like, "Why does it say this? Why does this That's weird. That doesn't Those things cancel each other out." She just, like, looked at it and said it out loud. And I'm like, "Ha ha, free legal advice." And we went back to the client. We're like, "We're not signing this. Like, you're making us like, it was the way it was written. It was going to make Toast and Jam completely liable and it was on a boat. And so it was like anything can happen on a boat. And if anything bad happens, it was going to make it so that we were completely responsible for it, and every other vendor that also signed that
Mhm.
thing."
Which is a funny
And
thing.
yeah, there's like 6 vendors associated with this event, and
Mhm,
all 6 of them are signing the same thing that's all
mhm,
making it so that everyone's indemnifying everybody. And so, like,
mhm,
if someone gets drunk and falls off the boat and they sue
mhm,
everybody involved at the wedding,
mhm,
that's, I mean, just the circle jerk
mhm.
and
Buck
of
passing, which is I like to
liability
say,
is yeah.
yes. The circle jerk of buck passing, is gonna be, a
And it
T-shirt. I need to
and it
make.
does feel like it's like that they are making they're using Chat GPT or whatever to make these contracts, and
Yeah,
then when we point out, like, I had a human look at this and they saw it was wrong and they were like, "Nope." Like, it
yeah,
was like just this ego, like, they couldn't handle that, that something was they're like, This has been signed for 14 years." And I'm like, "Okay, well,
yeah,
I that's cool, but."
yeah, and it's, to me, it's more of just this, like, fundamental understanding of, like, just accepting your part in it. You're deciding to have a venue on a boat, right? Like, why would it be anyone else's responsibility to make sure that your boat venue is protected from every possible thing that might occur on it?
And
Like,
that's not possible.
is well,
It's
yeah,
just not possible to
but
cover
it's also
everything.
just not logical. We didn't decide for you to have a venue on a boat and then make that available to people that wanna hire us to DJ. We didn't
Yeah.
we didn't make you do that. Like, we just wanna DJ for this person that wants us to DJ for them.
Well, and they're
Uh,
not telling the client this either. They're not saying, "Oh, by the way, we're gonna
yeah,
make our clients all your vendors sign this awful
yeah,
agreement, and so if you don't let them sign it, then they can't come on this boat." And so it
yeah,
kind of like so it puts and they don't tell you about it until, like, a month before the event. And
yeah,
it's like, I also think that part of this has to do a little bit, like, not but, like, some of the venues that we've gotten to, they're places that have been bought by private equity.
true.
And the when they get bought by private equity, they've got corporate coming in and they wanna also limit their liability because they got 100 other companies that they put money into, and the other 98 are gonna
Mhm.
fail.
Yeah,
So when they fail, we gotta find out how to, protect ourselves from liability.
right.
And so they, come down with these they're not looking at the business. They're not looking at what it actually does. They're just like, like we got into we got into it over a venue that wanted us to have like $350,000 worth of
Mhm.
some kind of coverage, and we had like $275,000 worth of coverage, so it was like a difference of $50,000 or something, like, it was roughly negligible, and it's like, the amount of damage we could do at $250,000 is the same damage we would do at 350. Like, I don't like, I can't imagine what we would do to
Yeah.
cause.
It's catastrophic no matter what, but also the potential for a DJ to do catastrophic damage to anything is next to
Yeah, so the
zero.
difference between $350,000 and 500, whatever it winds up, it's like, it doesn't matter. It was like, I mean, make it $11 million, like, it's
Sure.
any way you slice it, it's not
The
gonna be
insurance
real.
company would love us to be insured for 11 million.
But that's I mean,
Um,
that's the other thing is with the insurance, it's like, when we have to, like, adjust our insurance to go from 350 to $500,000 of meaningless insurance, that's just more money the insurance company gets
yeah.
for insurance that we're probably most likely never gonna use.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that is the problem with insurance, right? Is it's only worth it when you need it.
And then
But
after you need it, they drop you.
and then after you need it, they drop you. But yeah, we're propping up all of these, institutions of this industry by, I don't know, AI legitimizing it, right?
Mhm,
Like, so the the sort of takeaway is that, like, it's a burden for us. It's an expense that drives up our cost of operations, which in turn drives up the cost of our services. And then all of that difference just goes into insurance, into
mhm.
sort of a false sense of security around if something catastrophic happens, right? And it just feels like if everybody would just take responsibility for their actual liability in a situation, then we could keep our costs down and,
Mhm.
perform for everyone and pay our DJs what, we need to pay our DJs and have, more amazing events.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Except
the
that
amount of time that we have to spend doing non-client, non-DJ related stuff is like I feel like my whole job is just regulation. All I am doing is dealing with regulation, and it is really unfun,
It's
and
it's
it
really truly super unfun. I mean, sometimes it's a good thought exercise, but at the end of the day, I would much rather be focused on, how to make toast and jam just better and cooler and more accessible to more people
yeah.
than figuring out how do I make sure that this venue feels okay about, you know,
Well,
our
and
our DJ
it
being
also feels like, I mean, and I can say this with almost all regulation, it all just seems like we're just, like, paying the price for somebody else's bad behavior that
Mhm.
they couldn't make held responsible for their own
Right,
bullshit, but then they have to make
right.
these, like, bigger rules around it. Like,
Uh,
I think I get that, like, when we made everybody employees, we had to just start doing mandatory sexual harassment training
yeah,
once a year, and they're
yeah,
crazy about it, like, you have to do it. And again, I mean, I am not against sexual harassment training, but
yeah.
I am against it when I'm having to do it because the reason you're not having sexual harassment training because of stuff that women are doing. You're
Mhm.
having it because men are doing things. And
Most of
so, yeah, most of the time I mean, I bet I could say with alacrity that 90% of the time, I'll give him 85. I'll give him 85.
yeah.
85% of the time that sexual harassment is being perpetrated by a man. And
Right.
so it's like we're all paying the price because men can't fucking get trained to keep their dicks in their pants. And they can't keep themselves from saying shitty things to women. I mean, it's like shocking to me that it's like this is the price we pay for women being in the workforce is that
Mhm.
men will have to start not being pieces of shit.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
have to then now everybody has to sit through 2 hours of this bullshit a year that we have to pay for. I
Well,
mean,
that's
what
the other part of it is the propping up of these sort of, tertiary industries that, like, exist just to be paid per person to communicate information that should be free, right?
Mhm,
Like, there and of course, Illinois has, like, programs that you can apply for, to have a reduced cost way of distributing this information, and yeah, you wanna stay compliant. I mean, it's just the bureaucratic whatever, the circle
mhm,
jerk of book passing,
yeah,
and literally and figuratively. It's just, it's wild to have to every year there's some new thing that I'm looking into trying to unpack with
Oh,
you that's
the
like
the paid time off leave thing in Chicago
yeah,
is labyrinthine, and, like,
yeah.
it's like I can't figure out how to make it even work for us. I mean, and it's, I don't know where, like, where we're necessarily going with this, um,
Well,
but
I
it
think AI has added an irritating complexity to navigating these issues because it gives people a false sense of security that they're experts on things that they are not experts at, but then also gives them a sort of resource that's propping up these other industries that makes everything more expensive. I mean, and to me, that is the essential problem, here.
Yeah,
So
and I feel like, when I think about, like, Project 2025 and, like, my version of what I would do if I was gonna do,
mhm,
like, a Project 2028,
mhm.
like, I do feel like AI is Pandora's box, the ultimate Pandora's box.
Ultimate.
Um, oh my god, I lost my train of thought. This keeps happening. I think I'm getting early Alzheimer's.
We have a lot of thoughts and no script or outline. So
Listeners at home, can you believe we're just pulling this out of our asses? Can you believe this is coming without research at
and that
all?
we would be doing this if microphones were present or they were not.
Yeah, it's true. This is Melissa and I on a we get nothing when we're done, we're together, so we're just bitching about everything. But oh, that's what I said. My version of 2028.
Yes.
Like, I wanna make it so that, like, whoever loses a lawsuit has to pay the legal fees of the other side. I
Mhm,
want that as a law. I
mhm,
want it real bad. I
mhm,
want that because people no one would sue if there was a possibility that they could have to pay the
to
legal fees
defend.
of the other side. I
Yeah.
mean, and it sucks, and I don't know. I just feel like that would be kind of a good solution to a lot of our
It's
problems.
kinda like the way I always say I don't get into an argument unless I know I'm gonna win,
Mm.
because, it's like I'm not even gonna spend the mental, sort of energy on it. In fact, my new screensaver, Mary, I haven't shown you yet. Oh, wait, it went away. How sad. How does one's background on their computer, like, revert to something else? Well,
I don't
how
know. But
um,
it's kind of like, is it sort of like when you, like, attack Iran in a war of choice, and then they close the Strait of Hormuz, and you're like, "I didn't see this coming," when everybody in the world saw this coming?
mhm, mhm.
And, and is that you don't get into kind of situations like that?
No, but it's more it said something to the effect of, "I know I'm insufferable, but I'm also correct, so what the hell do you want me to do?" You know? Like, where whatever, It's just like, I'm right. I'm right.
I get into fights
And I
I
have to
can't
tell
win
you
all the
about it.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's, I'm like that dog that just kinda gets in there, and I'm like, "Give
Yeah,
it to me.
there you
I'm
go.
gonna fight."
Yes, I am insufferable, but I am also correct, so I literally don't know what you want me to do. So, I just don't. That's like it's my new, like, if I have to, like, calm myself down because I'm giving myself a hard time about having to say something to somebody that I have to say to them.
Is it
Like,
me?
it's not you. Um, but I have to say a lot of things, and I have to what were we watching? Oh, of course, what were we watching?
Drag Race?
Below Deck. Those are the
Oh.
only 2 shows I watch, though, so, um and Traders. But anyway, we're watching Below Deck, and Daisy from the season, the lovely, head stew, was like, "I changed my management style to fit, the person, that I'm, like, whatever," and I was like, "Golly, I really wish I was better at that," because I just wanna be like, "Don't we all agree that we're just trying to make this place awesome? And I
Yeah,
tell you this thing that is required in order to make this place awesome." So I'm gonna tell
that's
it
a
to you, and I just want you to realize that the only reason I'm telling you is because I'm trying to make this place awesome.
well, and that's I mean, and, that's also just sort of the long and short of what's happened, post-COVID, the lack of everyone's suspicious. I mean, the enshittification,
Mhm.
it's like there it just feels like and I think it I mean, I know of course, I wanna put myself out there as the victim of these things 'cause I don't wanna be in the same blob as, a Jeff Bezos or whatever that is, they really are awful. Like, I
Absolutely.
feel like I feel like businesses where the boss is so far removed from
Mhm.
the workers, it's
Mhm.
really easy for the CEO of Starbucks to say, "Let's close all of the unionized stores."
Yeah.
'Cause he's never gonna see those people. He's never gonna
No.
look those people in the eye, and it's, like, really easy to do that when you don't have to see your employees, and
Right.
that's why I feel like there should be, small business and then, big business should not even there shouldn't even there should the regulation should be completely different. I I mean, I know that there's some really shitty small businesses out there, but, if you've got less than 50 people, you know all your employees,
Yeah.
you know, you have looked them all in the eye.
Yeah.
It's hard to make decisions that are going to affect their lives when you have nothing to do with them.
Yeah. There's so much that's difficult about all of this. But the AI stuff just feels like so many self-inflicted wounds, so
Mhm.
many, death by a thousand cuts of like trying to build something that's really meaningful and intentional, and especially in an industry like we are in where we're supposed to be celebrating love and union and family, and inclusion and all of these different things, to spend 80% of your day just trying to figure out how to communicate to somebody in a nice way why it's important to do X thing, or why it's not my responsibility or our responsibility to make sure you can refinish your floors annually. Like, I
Mhm.
just want everybody to kind of own their own shit. Come on,
Yeah.
no one's owning our shit for
No one
us.
owns my shit. I would kill to offload my shit to someone. But, then I wouldn't feel like it was really mine. I
You
want my
you
shit
would.
to
You would for sure, like, even if it were reasonable for you to offload your shit, would still feel like it wasn't your shit because you just hold yourself to a very different standard.
Yeah. It's a standard that sucks though in many
It is a
ways
standard
because,
that sucks.
I
I
wish
hear it.
well, I think about, how, my son, I love him. I love him so much, but he can't, he's kind of a bare minimum guy.
Sure.
If the teacher says, "Write 2 to 4 sentences," he will write 2 sentences.
Mhm.
And it's like, I don't feel like
And they
I've
have 3 words each.
yeah. There is a noun, a verb, and a direct object, or sometimes a participle phrase. And, maybe, I don't actually remember what a participle phrase is. You know what I used to love? I used to love diagramming sentences, was
That's that's really cute. Cute.
I was so good at it. Ugh, I love diagramming sentences.
Oh,
Anyway, I don't know what I was
your son,
saying.
you love him.
Oh, yeah, but he just it's like and I just
Bare
have
minimum.
it's weird because I don't think I could I've never been able to do that,
Yeah.
mostly because 'cause I'm not allowed to. If I do the bare minimum, then it's like I get failed.
Yeah.
Whereas, Sebastian's, like, "You're cute.
Yeah.
You're a white guy. You're gonna get an A,
Well, I do think that, not to like veer off track completely, but man, this is our podcast, so we do whatever the hell we want. But,
motherfucker."
um, kind of thinking about what you just said in terms of bare minimum, and also like is is managing expectations. And I think that's has always been such a hard thing for me to do, and probably for a lot of people to do, because it's like, especially when you first start at something, right? You wanna demonstrate your buy-in, you wanna demonstrate how good you are at it, you wanna really, like, show how awesome you are at something to somebody. If it's an employer, it's like, "I'm showing up, on time and, like, doing all the things." Um, and then, like, if you're a person who is an overachiever, then, right out of the gate, you're kinda like, "I'm awesome at everything," and you establish yourself at, it's like the straight A student that it just gets, like, the pat on the back, and then the, like, D student who gets $20 for every C they get.
Mhm.
It's like, if you establish yourself as a straight A student, it is really hard to drop back down to being a C student. Um, and, I guess, I don't know. In terms of setting expectations, uh, especially for, like, clients and stuff, like, I'm very, like, protective is the right word, or maybe just aware of the fact that, like, I have perfectionist tendencies, and if I say that I'm going to do something, or I've demonstrated, even through reputation, that this is something that you should expect, and then we don't, if we miss the mark, it literally feels personal to me. Like,
No,
it's
I mean, I don't know if my perfectionism is as high as yours, but I definitely have a hard time not taking anybody, not taking things personally when
yeah, and, it's just really challenging to so I guess my thing that I'm trying to, like, understand more in our business since I'm not from this industry is really, like, having a more measured, realistic approach to what, like how close to perfect you can get, how perfect a live event allows you to truly be, because it does assume, even like we were saying, going back to contracting, like we we really don't have that much control, or influence on things, and so to sort of even use language like, your perfect day or like anything that has to do with like this ultra high level of confidence and assurance around something like perfection or flawless or like all of these
Mhm.
this language that we use is so pervasive throughout the wedding industry, I think. When I almost feel like we should start saying something like, "We're gonna give it our fucking best." You
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna leave our blood, sweat, and tears out there, but at the end of the day, if you have lame family members and you have a venue that is gonna sound like hot garbage no matter how much high-end equipment we bring into it, like, them's just facts. Like,
Mhm.
and I'm really, like, going through a whole thing around the the lack of control aspect in this, and then how we communicate that whole idea to couples and still have them understand we're gonna bust our asses, but that if it sucks, it's not our fault.
Yeah, I mean, I go into every event assuming that we're all going in trying to do our best. Like,
Yeah.
it's I can't imagine a DJ going into one of these, no matter how mad they were at
Oh,
me or
sure.
whatever, to
Yeah.
just sink a wedding. Like,
Yeah.
I think, I mean, if nothing else, the ability to get our equipment out of there
Yeah.
is, hard.
But how
So
much can preparation, really even offset something that happens on site that is outside of your control and that might become something that you are pointed to as being the reason it wasn't perfect,
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you just
Let's
said.
use Brower as an example since that one is most, recently in my head as just being or the exchange, these massive spaces that are gorgeous for all the reasons you want to get married there, but from a sound quality perspective are totally
Tough. They're just tough. They're
right?
yeah.
Right. And so like trying to communicate that if it doesn't sound good, your impulse might be to think that's the DJ's fault.
Mhm.
But in reality, it's just physics and sound waves
Yeah.
and volume and air,
Mhm.
all of these things that, conspire to make things sound good or make things sound bad.
Mhm.
And so, you know, uh, it could sound bad and then people aren't dancing even if we're doing, a great job programming and reading the room, but because it didn't, sound great, you think that this was the
Yeah.
DJ's fault,
We
right?
get getting blamed for something that we have no control over.
Yes, but also setting the expectations properly so that, we can insulate ourselves from that blame, I guess, properly. So or at least manage expectations, I think is the real thing that I am learning is the difference between, um, like, perfection and, like, communicating around, what's really achievable, what we can really, be responsible for. Like, the thing we absolutely can control is our effort, our intention,
Mhm.
our planning, our organization, our equipment, like,
Yeah.
to an extent, but, like, there's so many other variables that impact the service that we're there to provide that we can't, you know
It's the mobile of it all,
it's the
you know?
mobile of it all. Yeah, so just kind of, I don't know, me sort of realizing that, like, I'm trying to control the uncontrollable,
Mhm.
but also
But the only way you can control the uncontrollable is by, like, having the best gear possible,
sure.
by having, understanding the event from top to bottom and knowing when everything is supposed to happen. So even if it
Mhm.
happens and it doesn't go perfectly, like,
Right.
I was there, I was present, I did it,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and, it's always doing your best and really feeling like you're doing your best because
Yes.
I mean,
And I think
people
that we've talked about this in the office a number of times before too, is that if you show up for all of those things up until, the day of, you're there, you're present, you're on time for your events, you're engaged, you're listening, you're documenting, you're, doing all of those things, and you are laying the groundwork for a successful event that hopefully weathers any kind of weirdness, right? Even a wonky sounding room. Um, but if you miss one of those milestones,
Mhm.
or you don't show up, or you're not engaged, or you're taking a meeting from your car, or any of these things, then you're setting yourself up for failure
Failure.
if anything goes wrong, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing someone's gonna go back to. I don't
Yeah.
know. Melissa's on her journey of, not being from the event world and really understanding what it means to be live in a room with a
Mhm.
bunch of intoxicated people.
And some people are really good at handling that kind of pressure, like myself, and,
Mhm.
like, other people just it's like I thrive in high stress environments. It is I love it. I love just the deadline being right here. Like, like,
No, me
ah.
me way less not that, no.
No, you are not that
Um,
person at all.
but it's cool, and just to make it personal for a second, like, it's sort of interesting to kind of have an analogous experience to, like, real life, like accepting that you don't have, control over everything, even if you try so hard, right? That's the number one reason I don't think I could ever be a DJ, is because there would be too many variables for me to be comfortable going into it thinking I can make all of this stuff happen, and then I would just come out the other side dead.
Mhm. Yeah,
Probably just from an actual heart attack, because I couldn't control something,
yeah, yeah.
not because of effort,
You are
but
not in control.
no, no, and it's wild. I mean, you have to be both confident in command and then able to kind of take anything that comes your way, 'cause, it's not my natural flow state.
Well, I think you're doing a great job.
Well,
Eh,
thanks. I
tr
should stay in the office, is, where things are more controllable, and
uh,
I can ask ChatGPT for help. Just kidding. People should use, AI judiciously, which
wait,
judicious
does that mean a lot?
judiciously? I thought it meant, like, with a measured approach.
Mm.
Um,
It's funny because I think about, like, spread butter judiciously on the piece of bread. I guess it would be don't put too much butter on.
yeah,
I always took it as, like, put a ton on.
people should use, AI judiciously, which
Wait,
judicious
does that mean a lot?
judiciously? I thought it meant, like, with a measured approach.
Mm.
Um,
It's funny because I think about, like, spread butter judiciously on the piece of bread. I guess it would be don't put too much butter on.
yeah,
I always took it as, like, put a ton on. Yeah.
reckless abandon.
Remember when I said I like to diagram sentences and
I do. I really
anyway,
it wasn't that long ago.
judiciously.
Um,
So, try to use AI as little as possible. But also, don't use it to put legal documents into and then use the arguments that ChatGPT gave you for your ability to argue something because you know what it sounds like? ChatGPT.
it
Whenever
does.
you
We
leave
know
those
you didn't
dashes
get a
in
law
there.
degree overnight, you guys. We know that didn't happen. But and then also just, like, consider, like, if you're enjoying something because you're an entrepreneur, you put a lot of effort, and you're enjoying having a career that is of your own design, and you're making people happy, that you shouldn't look to other people that are coming to make their dreams come true in your venue responsible, for your dream to continue, like, just just accept that we all have costs associated with doing business, and we should not use ChatGPT to figure out ways to make other people
Yeah,
responsible for these things.
yeah. Whew, you hear that, government? Anyway, well, thanks, Melissa, for complaining about the things of our job that annoy us.
Yes. I mean, there are things that, like Google, I think you gotta use it as a tool and not as a replacement for thinking.
Mhm.
It has its place. Um, and don't give it your Social Security number.
Yeah. I just think
Um,
about, like, just 2
yeah.
computers battling each other. I feel like that's just all AI is. Well, thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much. We'll talk to you next time.
Next time. Thanks for listening to All Up in My Lady Business with me, Mary Nisi. We'd love for you to like, review, subscribe, follow us at All Up in My Lady Business on the gram. And if you're a female identifying person and you want to dance, you can follow. I mean, everybody can follow it, but if you want to be a part of the magic at Hot Flash Dance Party, sign up for the mailing list to find out where our next party is going to be. And if you are looking for a DJ in the Chicagoland area or anywhere else, money's the same color everywhere. Fly us out. ToastandJamDJs.com has the best. And listen to my radio show. I have a radio show on Chirp Radio at chirpradio.org. That's Mondays, every Monday from 12 until 3 p.m. CST. Today's episode is produced by Shiraz Dada. Theme song composed and performed by, you guessed it, Shiraz Dada. All right, guys. Peace out.